my dreams never come true. So I think it's safe to say I wish I were. Wrapped in grey eyes, wrapped in blackest silk, neck to toe, my waist and hips immaculate, like an obsession. The air fits my skin, it fits. Body bounce with the tip, factory operation. So I sing. Sick of all the things.
Hello, hello, hello. I should be able to talk from this distance, so I will. I thought I'd put my synthesizers up today. Anyway, obviously, as ever, I'm Derek Anthony Williams, the futurist, here to take you through various bits of new music and give you a chat with Nicole Butler, who is a manager type person at the Hairy Dog in Derby. So I'm going to play you some new music and things first. So I've got a gig coming up on the 18th of February. It's a while yet, obviously. But I thought you might like to hear some of the stuff that's going off on that. So let's have a bit of Gothzilla, I think. I think that would be something enjoyable for you to have a watch or listen to or whatever it is. Cast No Shadow, a fairly recent track from them. So enjoy a bit of Gothzilla.
It's the point of no return. There's nothing left to learn. Sky is dark and the moon is low. You cast no shadow. You cast no shadow. You cast no shadow. Dead, but for you no tears were shed. They thought you could understand, but I see no holes in your hands. You walk where they never go. You cast no shadow. You cast no shadow. You cast no shadow. Fires that burn for you. They laugh at everything you do, but you find as you look below, you cast no shadow. You cast no shadow. You cast no shadow. There's no shadow. You cast no shadow.
That was Gothzilla, Cast No Shadow. They're coming down all the way from Edinburgh to play Wakefield, so that'll be exciting. So what can I tell you about them? Well, they're absolutely amazing live. I've told you about them before, if you've watched the show before, and you saw from there they're a really, really great goth band. Shall we have a bit of Death in Ingloria? They're playing on the same night, so let's see if I can find you a bit of Death in Ingloria. Death in Ingloria live promo. So let's have a look at what they've got to offer us.
Every single one
so that was... Ooh, I don't want that caption there anymore. Get rid of that. Yeah, so that was Death Ingloria. I'm not sure if it was a live promo or live promo video. It's hard to say in that, but that's on YouTube there. And that was 4 years ago. That was really, really well put together, I think. Really high quality video stuff there. Maybe a touch metally for my taste, but that was excellently composed and put together, I think. So what can I tell you about Death Ingloria, as they're new to this show? Death Ingloria explores humanity's depths, its heights, and its inevitable conclusions through rock music, comic art, and animation. Intriguing multimedia experience. Death Ingloria's albums are complete science fiction stories. Should be stories, I think. Told across songs, comic book pages, and animated videos which play out during Death Ingloria's performances. Show should be pretty spectacular. Each comic is the narration of the story, the songs, the voices of the characters. Death Ingloria has played Club Antichrist, the world's largest gothic fetish club, has been made into holograms to perform on 2 stages simultaneously across London at the Sci-Fi Film Festival. They've performed at London's Historic 100 Club, hosted stages at Swansea Comic Gaming Con, played London Anime and Gaming Con, as well as supporting Sonic Boom 6, Johnny Dowd, Jimmy Necco, Censor, and Italy's Elegy of Madness. It's quite a lot of notable work there. So that should be quite the spectacle in Wakefield. On the 18th of February, you'll get more of that later. Of course, there'll be links to tickets, which are £7 plus booking fee advance. That's £7.70. And you get Gothzilla and Death Ingloria. Death Ingloria coming up from London. And Gothzilla coming down from Edinburgh. So we're kind of one coming up, one coming down. We're meeting each other on common ground. Anyway, I'm going to hopefully have an interview now with Nicole, who is like that manager type person I was on about. Let's see if we can get that working, because it's always, you never know exactly what's going to happen with this sort of thing. I don't think I sent quite the right invite there, so I'll have to try again. Right, let's copy invitation there. And let's see how that goes. So yeah, hopefully Nicole will be with us shortly, and hopefully have a little bit better sound quality than we had with Ben Steiner. Nicole's in the waiting room. So let's see if this Zoom thing is working. Right, okay. Right. Are you working window capture? You said you were there, but why not? With you in a moment, Nicole. Just trying to figure out why it's not displaying on screen for some reason. No, we don't need to capture the cursor. What happens if I switch me off? It still vanishes. Oh well, I'll try another window capture or something. See, I told you it's always fun trying to get this sort of thing working. Right, window capture. We'll try a new one. Right, the Zoom meeting. And hopefully this time it will actually work. Capture method windows. There we go. I think we're getting somewhere now. You'd have thought it would remain the same between setups, but no. You know, every week I do this kind of thing, but forever seems to find ways of going wrong, even though nothing changes. Right. If I have Nicole there on my screen, if only people knew the exciting things I was doing in the background, you know. It's all terribly thrilling technical stuff, you know. Right, right, that'll do. All right, I'll transition Nicole onto screen now. Hello, Nicole. Welcome, finally, to Near Futurist TV. So, yeah, lovely to see you again. So, Nicole is, let me get those descriptions up again because I can't remember it. Technical finagle, what's a band wrangler, botherer and general dealer with at venues. Let me find that. You can tell me your technical description. Why do I need to look it up when you know it off by heart? I'm sure.
I guess bookings and promotions manager as far as the hairy dog goes. And then I've recently been given the great opportunity to be part of the Unearthed family, who are a great music management team, do all things looking after bands. So yeah, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, so first time we encountered each other was last year when you were looking for a band to support Pretty Addicted at the Hairy Dog.
Yes.
And
love Vish.
And because no one else was available, you had to go with Jan Novand, regrettably, and you've regretted it ever since. But yes.
Oh, goodness.
I thought it would be interesting to have a chat with you because at that time you'd pretty much only just started that kind of thing, I believe. I think you said to me at the time.
Yeah, I think it had been literally around 2 or 3 weeks, if that I'd been in control of it. I'd been helping the previous member of staff behind the scenes, doing bits and pieces, but to take it on fully as a role just on my own was brand new to it completely. I was a little overwhelmed.
But the thing is, it was probably the best experience I'd had to date of sort of someone handling bands and so forth up to that point. You know, it's not many people had been as responsive as a venue or dealt with bands in person quite in the same efficient and professional manner. So I think that's something that you'll definitely seem to take to it straight away anyway. So as far as I did you
thank you. That's,
I mean, I think I correct me if I'm wrong, you largely acted as barmaid previously, is that correct? Or,
yeah, I was barmaid, supervisor behind the bar. So yeah, just your average pint pourer. Which was fun, to be fair. It's always fun at the Dog being a pint pourer.
So how did it come about then that you were selected for this task of the bookings and band manager sort of thing?
I think a mixture of just kind of being around in the scene. So working at the Hairy Dog since the day it became the Hairy Dog, which was over 10 years ago now, which is crazy. Also having an abundance of friends in the industry from big bands, promoters, stuff like that. And then I recently started university and couldn't quite keep up with night shifts till 3 o'clock in the morning, as well as exams. So started helping out the previous booking agent, just with little bits and pieces that they couldn't quite keep up with. Just needed a little help here and there. They decided to move on to other things, and the manager, because I just knew my way about that area, I was just supposed to take on the role for just a couple of weeks, just while we were, going to find somebody else to do it. But I just kind of took like a duck to water, I guess they say. And yeah, I enjoy it. So I've ended up kind of staying with it.
Yeah, as I say again, it's just there was no obvious sign that you were new to such things. Maybe perhaps because you're used to, I mean, I get it to some extent, as I used to work a market stall and was kind of public facing all the time. So maybe you think maybe the people skills from like interacting with strangers all the time at the bar, maybe that transferred onto dealing with idiots who do music.
Yeah.
We'll just leave it at that makes
honestly. No, it's honestly it's almost, I'm almost speechless to hear like such high compliments, because I feel like I was winging it the whole time. I had a great deal of help from 3 people in particular, actually. Liam Barlow, who is the brains behind Unearthed Music. Gaz, who is the vocalist of Addictive Philosophy and part of Alpha Pro Creative, and a gentleman called Dave Hinmarsh, who is Breakout Promotions. Those 3, without them and their guidance of everything music industry, I would have never have been able to have pulled it off the way I did at all.
I'm not so sure. I think you just natural. And the thing is, what you brought was, I think, the personable nature of how you dealt with us. And the thing is, you were there and efficient, and you were out there to sort of greet bands arriving, and the efficiency at which you replied to Facebook messages and so forth. I mean, as someone who does put on gigs from time to time, desperately searching around venues for someone who will even reply to any messages. You send emails, you get no response. You send a Facebook message, you get no response. You phone them up, it goes to an answer phone, and it's just this sort of thing. And I think mainly it's because they're so often run by old white men, and that's the big problem. Whereas you need someone like yourself in charge.
From the other side too, it can be very frustrating when, excuse me, bands, but also bands managers, don't reply promptly. I can see Liam in the chat. I'm not being humble. But yeah, it's so frustrating when people don't get back to you. I tend to not get too annoyed unless it's over the 3 to 5 working day kind of period. But yeah, especially within our case as well, the gig that you guys jumped on, that was something that I needed prompt replies to, and not everyone was as prompt as you. So
no, not everyone is part internet like myself, but obviously being a futurist.
Well, this is true. I was going to say, being a neo-futurist, you've got that upper hand.
Yeah. Being permanently plugged into the internet helps tremendously. So have you ever found, like, maybe with any bands, I mean, I'm not asking you to name anyone or anything, has there been any bands who've maybe treated you, I mean, I'm just on about the experience, not any names, name them, but has anyone sort of, obviously I'm thinking mainly men, shown any sign of sort of surprise or disrespect to you because you're just a woman and a young woman or something, just maybe that kind of attitude?
I mean, bands and promoters, not naming names, I have had a couple of times where, I'm jumping the gun here, but I have felt that they've I don't know whether it's to do with being a woman or generally just being what they think is new to the scene, trying to almost take advantage of me in a sense, trying to overcharge me, or just assuming I don't know what I'm talking about. And again, I've had my help from others around me, help understand how to word emails in an assertive, but not so way.
Yeah.
So that's, I won't use the bad language.
Yes. Well, you can if you want, it doesn't matter. I mean, I'm sure everyone who watches this is a grown up, but, probably best to keep it polite.
But yeah, I don't think I've had any seriously bad. I've never had any face-to-face problems. I have had, and honestly, my partner, he's the the big boss of the Hairy Dog as well. He's seen a couple of ways that people have approached me. And I always do wonder if they would approach me like that if they were a male. Yeah. If I was a male, sorry. Yeah. One of them being an artist sent me a 3-minute long voice note on Facebook, complimenting me for about 2 minutes, and then dropped at the end, also, I'm in this band, can you book us? And I'm like, I'm not sure if you would send my male colleagues the same kind of messages.
No, that seems highly, highly unlikely. Yeah. I mean, the thing is,
he got blocked immediately.
Yeah, very, very sensible. And the thing is, what I've appreciated about you is you've done your job better than practically anyone else I've encountered, and that's all I'm looking for when I'm dealing with a venue. It's just people who do their job properly, and I'm sick of annoying male sound engineers who are. Oh, very nice cup there, by the way. That's sorry. Pussmog's excellent. Yeah, and things like a lot of the sort of old white men thing who think they're rock stars and so forth,
Yeah.
maybe tried to be rock stars and failed. I mean, and we all know that. And they're still sort of living that kind of ego trip. But so what makes you want to try and do this anyway? What's this passion for trying to wrangle all these idiots who think they're mega rock stars? Like myself, obviously.
You know what? It's the fact that I mean, my personal experience, I've genuinely had like a very small percentage of negative situations happen, whereas there's a large percentage. The music community, especially in the area that I work in, the Midlands, is huge. The metal community, especially around Derby at the moment, is absolutely thriving, and it sounds toxic to say it, but it is honestly genuinely like one big family. We all really look after each other. It's nice to be a part of that. It really is.
Yeah.
So it's much more than a job.
Yeah, it's something that is metal a genre that you're mainly interested in?
Well, most of my friends are more with that. I get bullied non-stop by the lot of them. A couple of them are in the chat, so I know they're going to say something. But I'm
curious to see what they'll have to say
standard,
now. So
I'm your standard early 2000s little emo kid who can't get over the fact that My Chemical Romance broke up and is happy that they're back. I'm that kind of guy. But yeah, I do like my metal. I like my metalcore. I don't like anything too heavy. Although Liam has definitely recently got me over to the hardcore side. So,
and it's not a genre I'm necessarily that much into, but so I may be way off the mark. What, Panic at the Disco? Are they one of the emo bands? I mean, they just announced they're quitting now, haven't they?
They did.
Have you been weeping in your bedroom ever since?
The person who wrote all the good music left ages ago, so we're not worried about that.
So you're safe with that then. It was Jared Leto, was he in one? Was 30 Seconds to Mars emo?
He's a strange guy though. I'm pretty sure he's running a very bizarre cult on a remote island. I guess his emo kids aren't as normal as people would think.
Yeah. Let me see what else I said. I was going to ask you about things, so just make sure I've not missed anything. So what's been sort of some of the biggest challenges you've faced in trying to run things? I mean, how's it going with like getting people into the venue and so forth?
Yeah, I mean, especially post pandemic, getting people back. There's still a lot of people that, are kind of a bit wary about being in big crowds. The current, financial crisis we're all going through, it's a tough one. I'm trying my very hardest to keep gigs as low costing as I can.
Yeah.
Obviously that comes with, issues. I'm not fond of not paying artists.
Yeah.
The very, very minimum thing I will ever do is drinks tokens. No artist will ever leave this venue without being paid. Like, it's as simple as that.
Yeah.
In some form. But yeah, it's tough to get great acts and not have to charge a certain amount for tickets, because at the end of the day, as much as we all love live music, it is a business at the same time.
Yeah.
And to keep that business thriving, I have to pay the artists.
I mean, and the thing is, some artists seem to want to get paid, like, say, quite a bit of money to come and perform, but it's like, will they actually bring in enough tickets to support that cost?
Yeah, it can be quite difficult as well to explain to an artist without sounding like an asshole, that it's nothing to do with their talent. It's purely, it's based on the amount of people they'll bring to the gig. I can't give an artist a huge lump sum of money if they only have one fan in the area, because that one fan's not going to pay that amount of money. Do you know what I mean? It's a balancing act.
I know what it's like.
Quite difficult.
I know what it's like to a degree, because I mean, I put on gigs, but sometimes there's bands you'd really love to have, but it's just so difficult to try and find a way to finance it. Has there been any bands sort of on your hit list who you'd really love to have, but you know they've not really got much following in the area?
Do you know what? I've actually been really lucky because there's a couple of bands that I'd always wanted to like come play or just, like come down. And one's actually playing in a couple of weeks, called Heartsink. They're quite far out. They're very emo pop punk. And they really worked with me in costs so that they could come down and play this gig. But I don't think they really have a fan base in the Midlands. So it's the other bands on the schedule that are going to bring those fans in that will also enjoy Heartsink, and we can grow their base up and hopefully get them on bigger bills.
I know I was sort of kind of a fallback plan just to fill in the lineup really in the first place.
You were actually one of the first people that were found. It was by Nick May, who's in the chat, my partner. We were on this mega hunt for 80s dark wave.
Thanks, Nick.
It's pretty addicted. It's a very specific genre, but it's also a genre that kind of works with a multitude of other genres. That's what's great about her. So yeah, we were looking for him, and it was Nick that found you, sent you over to me, and straight away I was like, yeah, I will message them. They were great. And I mean, you saw me and all my friends, we were dancing away.
I mean,
like,
the thing is,
we loved it.
The crowd wasn't
very much forward to Republica. Very much forward.
Hopefully I'll be a full band for that one rather than just a sort of...
I'd love it.
And I think considering the time constraints, I won't be able to do my lately usual costume change gag, but I'll still put on a show for you regardless anyway. I promise that. I think definitely if you were looking for that, then I must definitely have fit that bill. And as I say, it wasn't necessarily the largest audience I've ever had to play to, but certainly the enthusiasm. I know your friend, whatever Jade, she just seemed to go absolutely crazy all night. I mean, I don't think I've ever had anyone go. I mean, I hope she'll be
really enjoyed your set,
and I hope she'll be back for the repeat performance, because it was
she is she's coming with me, so yeah, we'll be there.
I mean, the thing is, as an artist, we thrive upon having some kind of reaction. The worst thing you can have is an audience that's totally static and not reacting at all. I'd rather have them throwing things at me than totally ignoring my presence. But that reception from the whole audience, really, I mean, there was such a positive reception, and it just seemed a really good atmosphere at your venue. So I think you must have cultivated something there with, and even if you weren't in charge of the bookings, maybe just with the way you work with the rest of the staff and that sort of thing, perhaps it creates that family atmosphere that you mentioned. I recall also at the time you were talking to me how you said you'd kind of got this passion to maybe incorporate more genres into nights there. How's it going? I know it's really tough.
This is good, actually.
It's really hard to do this sort of branching out into anything other than rock music a lot of the time. But tell me of sort of what your plans are to try and include lots of variety and so forth.
So and how's it going? We've got a dark wave goth night coming up, which I'm very excited about. It's a cover band. They cover all of your standard classics from the dark wave 80s era. Really excited for that. I've got some 90s tributes coming up, just, because who didn't love the 90s? Come on. There was some great pop music in the 90s. We've got a lot more different genres of metal, because obviously metal is like such a huge, vast genre. You've got your goth metal to your grunge metal to your hardcore metals to your metalcore. There's a huge variety of that. We've got the Exploited playing soon, which are punk legends. I've just today announced a great lineup with a band called Bite Me, and they're like this very fuck you kind of rock and roll, like fuck you, I'm a woman, I'm gonna stand on stage and I'm gonna rock harder than you kind of band, which I'm excited for them to join us. Trying to get Pretty Addicted back as well. We're trying to work something out there. on her standard Goth Summers tour, which I always love.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's going up. It's going okay. Slowly and building that genre up. I would like to get some more new wave stuff in, if I'm honest. I would like more new wave.
I know you said you're quite keen on maybe getting some kind of synth wavy kind of thing going off there.
Currently trying to work with a friend, Nathan. He works on so many projects, I don't even know what to entitle him as, to be honest. But he does a lot of stuff like that, and we're trying to work at the moment on a nice 80s synth wave night, which I think will be great. So yeah, it's going okay, slowly.
We've had questions in the chat, such as, how do you find the right artist to put on? Is it mainly from them approaching you, or do you seek them out?
It's a bit of both, really. We have an abundance of artists email our addresses, post on our Facebooks. If anybody wants to know, it's really simple. It's literally just bookings@hairydogvenue.co.uk. That will get filtered to me if it needs to get filtered to me. And when it becomes suitable, when something becomes available, we get who we can on. And then as for bigger acts, obviously we kind of sort them out, send emails, throw our shot.
And Unearthed Murph says, heard there's a Motley Crue cover band playing toward the end of the year. They sound sick, you know.
Well, Liam, that's Liam's band that he just decided to randomly create after getting drunk and electrocuting himself the other night, by the way. That's exactly what happened. And now he's formed a Motley Crue tribute act, which I am all for. So
I mean, I'm halfway there anyway, you know, so.
I think they're still looking for their Vince Neil, so.
Kiss the Hurricane says, we play both kinds of music here, country and western. And just checking to see if there's anything else I was going to ask. So if I might sort of just fish for compliments about what I did there, what did it live up to your expectations of what you thought you'd get from JDB?
It did. Honestly, it was genuinely so much fun. Like, as you said, like the crowd were dancing. It was, me and Jade had so much fun. We really did. And Carla was there too. My two best pals. They came to support me because obviously that was the first show I booked.
Yeah.
Well, took over halfway through. So they came to support me and they just ended up having so much fun. Like, it was really great. The energy. I'm looking forward to seeing you as a full band. Like, if you bring that kind of energy with just you.
Yeah.
What is the energy with a full band? You know what I mean? It's going to be great.
It should be excellent fun. And I recall Jade saying to me on the night that she was there kind of almost under sufferance. But she said, like, oh, come on, you'll love this band. And she thought, oh, God, no, I won't really. Then she just went absolutely berserk all night, was like front of stage, sort of, you know. But I still haven't seen any of the like selfies or anything from it. I think it's disgraceful, you know.
Oh, I'll have to get her to send them over to you.
Anyway,
what she's playing at.
Anything else you'd like to add? Obviously, we've got Republica and Fakers and Jan Doyle Band coming up on the 25th of February. Anything else you in particular want to add to things? I've kind of given you a lot more time than most people actually tonight, but I think honestly, you've had a lot of interesting stuff to say, and I wanted to explore what it's like from your side of the fence and that kind of thing. And if I ever let you talk again, you know, you might be able to tell people, you know.
Honestly, there's so many gigs, it would take me about half an hour to list every single one that I recommend. We've got some great bands coming up. From Harashers are on a couple of shows and they are amazing. Paul Bartholomew, Lost to Light. A great little punk band from Nottingham called Parallel States. Absolutely love those guys. They're on a couple of shows. Can't wait to get them on the stage again. I would just say to head over to the Hairy Dog page and just check out our gig listing. Because if I'd honestly be sat here all night if I was to label.
Well, yes, obviously. It was just not anything at all you wanted to add, you know.
Big special mention, though. We've got a 5-day festival coming up in October called Altfest. The genres are all over the place. We've spent months and months booking the bands.
Right, now we have Fakers, who are playing with me when I support Republica. That was Fakers, and I need to get rid of that caption again. So, yeah, that's coming up on the 25th of February, so we've got a best part of a month to go. There's also Top Loader playing the previous day, but we're mainly interested in Republica because that's the day I'm playing, obviously. And let's have another look at that festival that they've got going off. That'd be interesting. I'll show you the thing all nice and large now. I'll show you that in just a second. There we go. There we are. So what we got? Derby Outfest 2023 at the Hairy Dog. So we've got TBA. They sound exciting. Gamma Bomb, These Wicked Rivers, Divine Chaos, Neon Fly, Hell Ripper, Lunar Kiss, Harbinger. Let's see all them. Then Chemi-Queen, Visor Eyes, Hellgrind, Imperium, Inhuman Nature, Medusa Touch, Mexican Painkiller, Must Kill, Reaper, Starved, Those Once Loyal, Thunderian Summer, and Visitor. So that is rather a lot of stuff. Let's see what the details are on how much that costs and that sort of thing. Let's have a look. Hairy Dog Derby. You can find the Hairy Dog on Facebook. Probably like the Hairy Dog or something. Yeah, the Hairy Dog Derby is the Facebook address. That's where you can go to have a look at that, and their website hairydogvenue.co.uk. I'll provide links to those sort of things in the description of the video on YouTube. But for now, as we started a bit late, I think that's near enough all we've got time for. So I'll play you out with a bit of Byronic Sex and Exile, as this is a kind of a a fairly chilled tune to finish off with. So this will be Byronic Sex Exile, Lady MacBeth. New tour coming very soon, in kicking off 2nd or 3rd of February, I think. I'll give you a poster for that shortly as well. So until next week, this has been Near Futurist TV, episode 20. I mean, it'll still be that next week as well, but still, never mind. You get the idea, I'm sure. Right, so make sure I have videos enabled, and then you can have a bit of Byronic Sex and Exile. Lady MacBeth.
Oblivion veils the passion of skill, like hammer on shell. The silk and the lace that cover our face can't hide our disgrace. We're valiant.